I'm going to be doing a flight in FSX from Biggin Hill, which is airport code Echo Golf Kilo Bravo, to across the English Channel to France, to LFOH Lima Oscar or Lima Foxtrot Oscar Hotel, and that is in France, if I can find it. Here, we'll just go airport. I'm still getting used to how to use this. Flight, airports. Well, whatever. It's somewhere in France. Across the channel. So we're going to be doing this flight. It's going to be completely... Oh, here it is. LFOH. So Biggin Hill to LFOH. It's going to be completely via instruments and GPS, kind of. GPS and radios, essentially. So, yeah, so we might as well get started. Let's switch over to FSX. We're going to be flying the A2A Cessna 172 trainer, which is my favorite aircraft in FSX currently. We're going to be starting at Biggin Hill. We're going to start at parking 1. It's general aviation parking slot. I'm still really new to this, and this is my first actual GPS flight, so I'm going to be playing in fair weather and during the day, and we're going to set up the flight planner now. Departure airport, so again, Biggin Hill, and destination is going to be LFOH. The reason you set this up is so that ATC can kind of follow you. We're going to do IFR, but we're going to do low altitude airways, so that ATC can kind of follow you throughout the flight, and they can pretty much direct you and tell you exactly what to do, and route you around other aircraft. So we're going to go find route here, and this is the route that it's going to take. Again, if you want to look back at I find this view a little easier to read. Again, Biggin Hill is EGKB, so it's somewhere around here, and LFOH is down here, so it has us following these. I gotta switch back. Has us following these waypoints in low altitude airways, some VFRs, some intersections, and then finally the airport. But this is all going to be pre-programmed into the GPS, so we don't really have to take note of all that stuff. What we do have to take note of, and what I like to take note of, is the approach plates, and not approach plates necessarily, but just let me get rid of OBS, but just general airport information. So this is going to be our starting airport. This is EGKB, so you can even kind of look at what parking we're going to be at, or I guess not. I guess they don't label the actual parking ramps here, but regardless, we're likely going to be taking off the active runway, which is runway 21 here. And these are all the approach plates for LFOH. Now, it's hard for me to tell, like, this is the general, this is all in French, but this is the general airport, and then these are all the ILS approach plates for the different runways, and I don't know what this is. Anyway, doesn't matter, but they're going to either tell us, they're most likely going to tell us to come in on runway 22, which is this way, so we're probably going to be following... This is the ILS for runway 22, so probably come in like this or something like that. But it's going to be up to ATC to tell us basically what to do at that point. Again, I could be getting like all this shit wrong, so if I'm saying the wrong stuff, feel free to correct me, because I honestly don't really know what I'm doing. I just have a general idea. Oh, it wants us to save it, so sure. Nope, because we're already there. Okay, so we're going to fly now, and you're going to have to give me a second to get my stuff set up, because I have to basically pull out my keyboard, all that stuff. Oh, and also, I have this program that turns FSX into windowed mode, so let me do that next. So we're going to maximize this, and then turn it into borderless windowed mode. It's all fancy-like. Alright. Okay, so we're here in the cockpit of the 172. I'm just going to put in my table. It's not even booted up yet. or not even turned on. Take my mouse, get this stuff down here. Move in a little bit. Sorry, once I get my yoke, I won't have to do this every single time. Alright, so first things first is, first unpause the simulation. And we're actually turned on, so let's just actually turn everything off for now. And we do not need landing lights for now. And we don't need pit auto 8. Okay, so what we're actually going to do is swap out our GPS. Well, first repair myself in the hangar, just in case. Yeah, some spark plugs need to be repaired. And I'm going to swap out my GPS for the integrated one. That's this one right here. And I just want to check my views real quick, because I think... So that's my instrument view. Okay, so this should be alright. Yeah, I think we should be okay here. Yeah, I think we should be alright. Those are the two views that I'm going to be using. So, we're going to boot this guy up. Or start this guy up, I guess. Those are just the radios coming on. Why isn't the GPS on? I'm still getting used to this GPS. Maybe I gotta power it on. There we go. That makes sense. Alright. So now we're gonna open up air traffic control. And that's up here, air traffic control. And instead of doing all this manually like I normally do, we're going to just follow the ATC instructions. Actually, let's first check ATIS. See what the weather's like, but I know it's clear.
Foxtrot 0000 wind calm, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky conditions few clouds at 5,200, temperature 2.5, altimeter 2,
Set my altimeter.
ILS, runway 21.
So we're going to be using runway 21.
Landing and departing runway 21. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Foxtrot. Begin airport information.
Okay, so we're going to turn that off. We'll just switch that to turn that guy off. So basically COM, we're going to be using runway 21. Again, if you want to look at my plates, I have it here. So runway 21 is this guy. We're going to be taking off and well, incoming traffic is going to be landing at 21. If we go back to our FSX commander, I think I just switched it over there. Yeah, I'm going to quickly just connect this up to FSX, and it's going to do a whole bunch of crazy shit. We can close the navigation data. I don't need that. And this can go over here. And zoom in. So this is us. We are this blue plane. And here's all the surrounding traffic. We're basically going to be swinging around this way. But that's all going to be all done in FSX. So we'll go back to the middle screen. And unpause the simulation. Oh. So the next thing we want to do is contact tower. What did I just do? It was like delayed. Alright, so I'm going to request my clearance.
Biggin Tower, Cessna, November 7274, Hotel, ready to copy IFR clearance to Le Havre. Cessna, November 7274, Hotel, is cleared to the Havre Airport as filed. Flying runway heading, climb and maintain 9,000. Departure frequency is 129.4, squawk 6103. Cessna, November Foxtrot, cleared, touch and go.
Okay, so November Foxtrot is somebody else. They're going to be calling us at 74 Hotel. So once this guy's done,
Cessna, November 7274, Hotel, cleared Le Havre Airport as
and I'm going to squawk.
runway heading, climb and maintain.
So my squawk code should change.
129.4, squawk 6103.
There we go.
74 Hotel, read back correct. Contact ground on 134.8.
So now I'm going to tune into, or actually I got to request my taxi from my IFR.
Ground, Cessna, November 7274 Hotel with Foxtrot, ready to taxi IFR. Cessna, November 7274 Hotel.
Okay, taxiway D.
Short of runway 21 to taxiway Delta. Contact tower on 134.8 when ready.
Okay, so this is a really cool feature that I didn't know FSX had. You could turn on progressive taxiways, and if I look behind me, well, actually, yeah, you could probably see it. You see the little arrows, it tells me exactly where to go on the taxiway. So I'm going to acknowledge taxi clearance, but I also want to show something else.
Via taxiway Delta, Cessna 74 Hotel.
Okay, so we're pretty much done with this for now, but I want to do outside, and you can do a top-down view. So this is us, and this is another Cessna. So we're basically going to be doing taxiway D. So if we go back to this view, we're essentially like here. Let me just make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, we're essentially like here, and we're going to be doing taxiway D. So this is why I have this plate up. This is taxiway D, D3, D2, D1. We're going to go all the way over like this, all the way to the end here, and then take off runway 21. But we have to hold short. They told us to hold short runway 21 because it's an active runway. So then we contact ground on, well, whatever frequency we're on. We're on 134.80. We'll contact ground, and away we go. But they also want us to maintain 9,000 feet. So we're going to go back to our FSX. Make sure you guys can see that. And switch back to my view. So since we're going to be maintaining a certain altitude, I'm going to set that altitude. Let's turn this guy off, because I'm not used to going this far down. We're going to set this altitude to, oh, I should probably unpause that, to 9,000 feet.
Cessna November Foxtrot, go around.
And that should be good for now.
Going around, Cessna November Foxtrot.
And we're going to request pushback. So what's going to happen now is, if I hit Shift P, I think, yeah, start pushing back.
134.8. 134.8.
You can control your pushback, I guess. I don't think I have this control set up. No, you can't use any of your controls during pushback. Well, I guess it might be turning a little bit. Alright, we'll just stop the pushback now. Go back, give it a little bit of throttle. And we'll just kind of do a 180. I might get on the grass, but it's just a simulator. We'll line back up in a sec. Yeah, grass is alright, right? We're good. Sure. We'll go back to this. We're off to a good start. Hopefully there's no hard curbs. And while I remember, we'll set our flaps, because I always forget takeoff flaps, every single time. This time I did not. Nick is watching. Alright, so we're a good taxiing speed. I mean, it's slow going. This is going to be a long video, but make sure you got some coffee, in-flight movie, whatever. You know, we are crossing the English Channel, so it might take a little bit. And just so you can see air traffic, because that's always fun. I like looking over to the side to see kind of the active air traffic. It's kind of cool to watch. Just everything that's really going around me. That's not us. We're Cessna 74 Hotel. While we're in here, we might as well open back up. Open this guy back up. So we're going to basically just maintain heading of because that's what they want us to do. So we're taking off from. I'll do all this after I'm done taxiing because I don't want to have to handle all this shit. I think I have a flat tire. That's alright. We'll figure it all out when we get in France and try to land on a flat tire. Okay, so we're holding short of the runway. And we'll turn on our parking brake. So what I wanted to say is we're taking off from runway 21. So we're going to set our heading bug to runway 21 so that when we get about, 1,000 feet off the ground, we'll just engage autopilot. Autopilot can take us to 9,000 and continue us on our heading bug until ATC tells us to continue with our flight plan, in which case we will switch our autopilot from heading to nav, and then that means it'll follow heading to nav, but we'll set our nav over here to GPS, so it'll follow our GPS marker. It's actually kind of cool. So actually, we'll do that first. Set our nav to GPS just now, so that way when I hit that nav button, it'll follow the GPS routes. But that's only when ATC gives us clear to continue with our flight plan. We gotta follow everything that they say, which makes this kind of really easy. You just do what they say, not too hard. I mean, air traffic controllers have it hard, not pilots. Alright.
Megan Tower, Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, ready for IFR departure, runway 21. Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, keep short, runway 21. Traffic is Cessna Skyhawk.
There's somebody already else on the runway.
Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, clear for takeoff, runway 21.
Now we're cleared for takeoff.
Clear
I don't know what
for
that was
takeoff,
about.
Runway 21. Cessna, November 7274 Hotel.
Okay, we're clear for takeoff. So let's go ahead. We'll make this a little smaller. Oh, parking brake. Oh, and we're going to want to turn on our landing lights and turn off our taxi lights. So many things to remember. And we'll just fucking give it full throttle. Good to go. And remember, when we get to 1,000 feet, let's put on our headphones because this is loud. When we get to 1,000 feet, I'm kind of strafing off a little bit, we'll turn on our autopilot, get to 9,000 feet, and tune it to the heading bug. And rotate. We'll keep a positive climb at about 80 knots. And flaps up. Yeah, this runway is already pretty much like 800 feet off the ground, so. And we're approaching about 1,000 feet.
Cessna, November Foxtrot, cleared, touch and go, left traffic, runway 3.
So that's not us.
Cleared, touch and go, runway 3. Cessna,
We'll engage the autopilot. We'll turn on the altitude, arm it, set the vertical speed, let's say 500, and we'll turn on heading. Hands off the stick.
Cessna 74 Hotel, contact.
That's us.
Begin departure on 129.
So now we got a contact departure on 129.4. So we're done with the ground traffic.
129.4, Cessna 74 Hotel.
Now I'm acknowledging myself and tuning into. Now I got a contact begin departure.
Begin departure, Cessna November 7274 Hotel, is climbing through 1,200
So I'm telling my altitude and I'm telling my destination altitude. And he's saying his altimeter, so I'm just going to set my altimeter. It should be the same as before though.
Cessna 74 Hotel, turn left heading 170.
Now he wants us to turn left at 170, but proceed on 170 and climb and maintain 9,000. So
Turn left heading
we're going to set our heading bug to 170.
maintain 900,000. Cessna 74 Hotel.
Basically, we have to do everything that ATC says until they tell us to continue with our flight plan. And to kind of see where we are on this map, real quick, we'll go switch back over here. Remember, we're the centered blue aircraft.
74 Hotel. Traffic
Oh, this is a good idea.
1 mile
So
at 1,000.
ATC's telling us that we have traffic at our 4 o'clock.
Report them in sight.
And if we look on here, we actually do. They're right off to our left, so they want us to report the site of it. So if we go, well, I don't actually see it. Oh, there it is. It's high, and it is a Cessna Skyhawk. Okay, so we'll report traffic in sight.
Cessna 74 Hotel at the traffic.
They're pretty high though. And remember, we're still climbing at, I think our vertical speed was 500? Yeah, it's 500 feet per second to 9,000 feet, so we got a little while to go. It's a slow climb, and we're going to increase the throttle, because we barely have any throttle right now. But if you look here, it's kind of disconcerting. We're on the same approach path, me and this Skyhawk. But I think it should sort itself out. Alright, they're up there.
Piper Foxtrot Lima Charlie Papa Charlie. Which two? Piper Foxtrot Lima Charlie Papa Charlie. Begin approach. Roger. Altimeter 29.
Somebody else?
Begin approach. Piper Foxtrot Lima Juliet Hotel Juliet with you 6,500. Piper Foxtrot Lima Juliet Hotel Juliet. Begin approach. Roger. Altimeter 2992.
Wow, it's really busy.
Cessna Golf Hotel Bravo. Contact Gatwick approach on 118.905. 118.905. Cessna Golf Hotel Bravo. Piper Charlie Papa Charlie. Traffic.
And if you look here,
4 miles at 6,500. Piper
we're pretty much on track with our GPS heading anyway. We want to be on the pink line,
Charlie. Have a Piper departure in sight.
and ATC knows that.
Hotel Juliet.
But,
Traffic is 1 o'clock, 4 miles at 3,500.
But,
Piper, report them in sight.
We're just going to stay on this heading until they tell us. I don't know if they actually tell us to continue with our flight plan yet. Oh, we're going way too fast. I don't know if we can continue with our flight plan right now.
Cessna 74 Hotel.
Oh, that's us.
Contact Gatwick approach on 118.
So now we're getting close to Gatwick. So they want us to contact Gatwick approach, just to show you that real quick. This is us here. This is Gatwick. We started at Biggin Hill up here, so we're in almost in Gatwick's airspace now. So I'm acknowledging approach. And now that we're on Gatwick approach, I'm gonna switch to our flight plan.
Gatwick approach. Cessna November 7274 Hotel is climbing through 3,500 for 900,000. Cessna November 7274 Hotel. Gatwick
Altimeter's the same.
Roger. Altimeter 2992. Gatwick departure. Orbit 8782.
You know, 9,000 feet is kind of high. So let's go down to 6,000 feet. So we'll request a decrease of 3,000 feet.
030, proceed on course, climb and maintain 11,000. Gatwick approach, Cessna 74 Hotel, request Northwest 7000.
See if he approves it.
Seven
Alright,
Fort Hotel. Climb and maintain 7000.
so 7,000. That's probably good.
Climb and maintain.
That's probably better,
7000.
actually.
Cessna 7 Fort Hotel.
Turn left heading 030, proceed on course. Climb and maintain 1000. Orbit 8.
Alright, I'm going to turn on my nav so that we're following. Again, our nav up here is telling the autopilot to follow the GPS, not the nav radios. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to tell it to follow nav. Now it's navving on autopilot.
Climb and maintain.
Or now the autopilot is navving via the GPS, so it's going to keep me on this pink line.
Pacific 1226. Contact London Center on 118.475.
Yeah, and we'll just wait for that to kind of catch up with itself.
North American Pacific 1226.
And I wonder if there's a way real quick, if I can find out how to show my... There's got to be a way to show your GPS information on here, like your waypoint information. Show plan, maybe? Oh, I hope I don't screw something up. I don't really know what I'm doing, so... And I don't know how to close this now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't want to screw around with this. I'm really worried that I'm going to break something. So let's not worry about that at all. I can play around with that when I'm not in the middle of the flight.
Gatwick departure, orbit 4580 is climbing through 1100 for 10,000.
So honestly, at this point in the flight, it's pretty boring. We're
Orbit 4580, turn left heading 330.
we're just basically following the GPS headings and whatever the ATC tells us to do.
Climb and maintain 10,000. Orbit 4580. Beach Hotel Tango Papa. Contact shore approach on 123.15.
123.15 for each Hotel Tango Papa.
Orbit 4580.
A lot of traffic, though.
Approach on 129.4.
Let's take a look at our GPS.
For orbit 4580. Orbit 9er.
So we're approaching this little
Contacting and approach on 129.4.
pink line. We'll zoom out. I think this is zoom out. Let's zoom in, zoom out.
Gatwick approach. Each Golf Echo Yankee Bravo Victor with you.
Each Golf Echo Yankee Bravo Victor. Gatwick approach.
So you can see our plan here.
9er 2.
And now that we're on the pink line, the GPS or the autopilot's gonna turn us around, get us back on our nav line. So I literally have to do nothing. I can sit here, I can walk away, I can go do the dishes. I just have to sit here, basically, and switch frequencies when they tell us to. Because we'll be on Gatwick for a little bit.
Gatwick departure. Orbit 4580 is at 6,100. Climbing 10,000. Orbit 4580. Gatwick departure. Roger. Altimeter 2992. Cessna Golf Hotel Bravo. Contact shore of approach on 123.15. 123.15. Cessna Golf Hotel Bravo.
Look at that. English countryside. That's Gatwick Airport back there.
Gatwick approach. Orbit 9er 114.2. Orbit 9er 114. Gatwick approach. Roger. Altimeter 2992.
You know, now that I think of it, I probably should check my fuel levels before leaving, and I'm at half fuel levels across the English Channel.
Orbit 4580. Traffic is 9 o'clock. 2 miles at 11,800.
Yeah, that might be an issue later on.
700. Report them in sight.
I've never run out of fuel in this game.
Orbit 4580. Have the Bombardier C-700 in sight. Orbit 4580. Contact London Center on 118.1.
I keep forgetting on this aircraft that, like, it keeps a persistent state. So if you're done flying, it'll keep. That's just. That was just my autopilot telling me I'm at an increment of 1,000 feet. It keeps your current state, so I just flew a whole bunch and I didn't fill up. Probably should have filled up. Damn, Gatwick's busy. You know, it might be actually more interesting to watch this. Oh, they're actually contacting me right now. 4 miles at 8,000, 9 o'clock.
Orbit 90148, traffic is 1 o'clock, 3 miles at 6,300. Cessna Skyhawk, report them in sight.
There it is.
Orbit 90148, traffic in sight. Cessna 74 Hotel, Hampton to Haviland, dash 8 in sight. Pacifica 1014, turn left heading 145, proceed on course, climb
And if you look here, they're pretty damn close. Actually, that's the, I think that's the de Havilland. Let's zoom in. That's going to pause my game, but it's probably better if we monitor this a little bit. But these guys are at...
Traffic alert, 9 o'clock, less
Yeah,
than 1 mile,
I know.
de Havilland, dash 8, report them in sight.
Alright, so they're... ATC's pissed off because, like...
Traffic alert, 6 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 6,700.
Where is that guy?
Report them in sight. Orbit 90114, Hampton, Skyhawk in sight. Cessna 74 Hotel, traffic in sight. Edward approach, Piper on the crossing.
Yeah, we just crossed over each other, essentially, and ATC just had a heart attack.
Cessna 74 Hotel, traffic is 3 o'clock, 3 miles at 10,300.
And that's again them telling them they're at them at 3 o'clock now.
1014, contact London Center on 118.
Up here somewhere.
475. Orbit 90148, traffic is 10 o'clock, 1 mile at 9.
Normally I wouldn't acknowledge them in sight, but I have my GPS open on my other thing, so...
Cessna 74 Hotel, traffic in sight.
Yeah, those two orbits just like flew right over me, but they're at 8,000 feet. I'm at... There's a big 1,000 feet difference between us.
Orbit 2041, Gatwick approach, roger, altimeter 29902. Orbit 2041, traffic is
We'll
5
switch back
o'clock,
here.
2 miles
Oh,
at
we already are
8,000.
over here for you guys. I'm just zooming out. Every time I click off the game, it pauses it. Sorry about that. I wonder if there's a way you can change that.
Orbit
I'll have to look it up later.
2041, have the de Havilland dash 8 in sight.
Okay, I'll switch back to here for you guys.
Gatwick approach.
Although
Piper
this
on
is
the
actually
crossing with Juliet.
more
Hotel
interesting.
Juliet with you.
Orbit 2041, contact Shoreham approach.
So just so you guys know, this is not FSX. This is a program called FS Commander, Flight Sim Commander. It ties into FSX for flight planning.
Going to 123.15, orbit 2041.
So a lot of people ask me, like, what do you do when you fly in FSX? And there is actually quite a lot to do, but once we get over the channel, it'll be a little boring. But there is quite a lot to do. You're constantly busy. It's not just sit back and relax and fly straight. Especially once we get on approach and stuff, it's quite stressful. There's a lot of things that happen all at once. And then there's times when absolutely nothing is happening. So it's quite exciting, actually. It doesn't sound like it would be, but learning all of the stuff and figuring it all out. Now I gotta switch frequencies to Shoreham approach. And the reason they're... Let's acknowledge the handoff first. The reason they're telling us to switch to Shoreham is because this is us. This was Gatwick. We were just on Gatwick. Shoreham's down here. So we're getting into Shoreham airspace. Same altimeter. Actually, I wonder if there's a way. I think if I click this is going to pause the game again. I think, does that make sense? I'm not sure what I'm doing. This toggles the airspaces, so maybe these green lines now indicate the areas of the airspace. Could be wrong though, like most of the other stuff.
Shore approach, roger. Altimeter 299er2.
Oh, we got a Pacifica coming up real fast on us. And we're going to intercept this GA flight. But he's flying at 8,000 feet. We're flying at 7,000 feet. That's what these numbers mean. So the first number is your altitude.
Beach Hotel Tango Papa. Traffic is 3 o'clock, 4 miles at 5,300. De Havilland dash.
That's this guy.
Report them in sight.
So he wants him to report
Orbit
these guys.
2041. Traffic is
And
9
now
o'clock,
he's telling
4
Orbit
miles
that this
at
guy is
6,500.
9 o'clock from him.
Beach Aaron, report them in sight.
And now they're going to respond back. And now he's telling me that I have traffic at my 9 o'clock, which I already was talking about earlier. This is the Beach Baron right here.
Hotel Tango Papa, traffic in sight.
Cessna 74 Hotel at the traffic. Orbit 2041 have the traffic.
And everybody's responding on their
Beach
traffic.
Hotel Tango Papa. Traffic is 3 o'clock, 4 miles at 8,000. De Havilland dash 8. Report them in sight. Orbit 90148. Traffic is 9 o'clock, 4 miles at
And that's this guy?
6,500.
Traffic 9 o'clock.
Aaron, report them in sight. Beach Yankee Bravo Victor. Traffic is 3 o'clock, 3 miles at 7,000.
This is this guy?
Cessna
He's
Skyhawk,
he's
report them in
reporting me
sight.
to him.
Beach Hotel Tango Papa, have the
Yeah,
Havilland dash 8 in sight.
We're going to be about 1,000
Yankee Bravo
feet.
Victor, have the Cessna Skyhawk in sight.
We're going to get close.
Hotel Bravo.
But we're 1,000 feet away from each other. So
475. 118.475 for Cessna Golf Hotel Bravo.
but my program might start freaking out. It basically, when FS Commander will start freaking out if you get too close to other aircraft, and it'll make like a sound, like a dinging sound. Oh, you can actually see it in our... If we go back to... There's the Beechcraft, right up there. It's amazing how like all this stuff sort of works together, which what makes this game really cool. So again, if you skipped ahead in the video, we're just basically following our waypoints. Well, the computer is, not me. We're basically following our waypoints to France. We're going to Le Havre, and we're just about to cross the channel. We're just on the border.
Descend and maintain
We're getting there.
Orbit
Close.
90148. Orbit 2041.
And as you can see, the channel's right here in front of me.
Turn right heading 320. Orbit 2041.
Sorry.
Small Quebec Mike uniform. Traffic is 11 o'clock, 4 miles at 3,000. De Havilland dash 8. Report them in sight.
I like looking at this view because you get to see everything. Normally, if you play FSX, you don't really get to see this stuff. It's just people talking, and you don't really understand what it all means because it goes really fast. So I like kind of following this stuff and seeing where all these guys are and like how it all works.
135.175.
I've got my traffic up quite high, and I'm not using any traffic mods. I'll probably use them eventually, but...
Turn right heading 320. Orbit 90148. Beach Hotel Tango Papa. Traffic is 9 o'clock, 3 miles at 5,500. Mall M7. Report them in sight.
Beach Hotel Tango Papa, have the mall M7 in sight.
So we're approaching our waypoint here. I don't know what waypoint that is, and I don't know how to fool around with the GPS enough to find out. But we're about to make a turn, and you'll see the autopilot do that automatically. so give it a second. You'll actually see, we'll try to get this so that you can see it all happen at once. You'll see the vertical, oh sorry, the turn coordinator come alive. The heading will change. I mean, I know it's not that exciting, but we'll get there. This is how it works. This is how you fly. The anticipation. There we go. There's the turn coordinator. Oh, and this is your flight time. It's kind of cool. Tracks. Ever since Master Power is on. So, 31 minutes. The only way I can clear flight time is if I kill Master Power. So you don't really want to do that. So, coming back to FS Commander. You can see now we're on... Actually, what's really cool about FS Commander is it'll actually show you your heading. So the highlighted number on this outside compass will show you the heading that you're at. So I'm at 204. And if we go back to here, and actually, I think if I switch to the GPS, move this, it'll tell, yeah, my heading 204. And, similarly, if we look at the heading indicator, well, that's the bug, but go 204. Oh yeah, actually it says it right there, 204, if you just mouse over it.
Shoreham approach. Piper Foxtrot Lima Juliet, Hotel Juliet, with you.
Just slowing up a little bit.
Foxtrot Lima Juliet, Hotel Juliet, Shoreham approach. Roger. Altimeter 299er2.
So let's see if we can figure out some stuff about this GPS. See how this works. Oops. I wonder if I can click this. Here we go. Make it bigger a little bit. I guess I can't make it any bigger than that. Oh, yeah, I can. That's a little weird. Okay. So this is obviously zoom in, zoom out. Display direct to waypoint page. Okay, I don't want to mess around with that. Now this will change our pages. Yeah. So right now we're on Shoreham. And this changes... There, this changes the page. That's Shoreham Airport details. Those are all the radios and everything. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the approach vectors? No. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. So clearly I'm well informed on how the GPS works. I just know how these knobs work, kind of. Nearest intersections, nearest VORs.
12 o'clock, 4 miles at 6,500. Piper, Archer, report them in sight. Piper, Juliet,
Oh, so this is just a true nav, and this is directional.
Report them in sight.
What's this menu button do? No options. Okay. Message. No messages.
Mall, Quebec, Mike, uniform, have the traffic.
Terrain. Ooh, that's cool. So I guess there's not much. I don't know what these OBS, automatic waypoint sequencing. I wish I can figure out how to see the list of your waypoints. I'm sure there's a way. So if I change the page, okay, so waypoint.
Mall, Quebec, Mike, uniform,
I guess that was my...
1 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 6,500. Piper, Archer, report them in sight. Piper, Juliet, Hotel Juliet, traffic alert, 5 o'clock, less than 1 mile, 5,500. Mall, M7, report them in sight.
Piper, Juliet, Hotel Juliet, Captain Mall, M7 in sight. Mall, Quebec, Mike, uniform, have the traffic.
I hope I didn't break anything by clicking that. I'm always worried about... Oh, flight plan page. Here we go. Booyah, that's what I wanted. Okay, so this will show my flight plan. So right now I'm on this leg. and it tells me my distance to, I guess, is this distance 2 or, oh, cumulative distance is the total distance by adding up all the distance columns. So it's not telling me like my total distance left.
Mall, Quebec Mike uniform. Contact Gatwick approach on 118.905.
But this is cool, it kind of gives you an idea. So I got basically 12, 15, 17. So I got about 70 nautical miles left to go before I reach LFOH. That's cool. And estimated time to, I don't know what ETE means, but I'm assuming that means 7 minutes to my next waypoint. Estimated time to something, E, I don't know. Alright, cool. So we can zoom out. So this is it here, BENBO. That's our next waypoint.
Roger, altimeter 2992.
Flight plan. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's me.
You are 6 miles north, turn left, heading 185. Expect
All right.
vectors ILS, runway 23.
I don't know why he's telling. How do I close this? Close window. All right. So wait a second. You are 66 miles north, turn left, heading 185. Expect vectors ILS, runway 23 approach. Okay, so
Turn left, heading 185.
this is where I'm gonna have to pause and look shit up. So they want me to turn left at a heading of 185, so we can no longer follow our flight plan. And he says expect vectors for ILS, runway 23 approach. So we're gonna go over here. So we're gonna be landing 23 at LFOH. So we're gonna go over here, turn on this guy, and whoa, this is runway 22, so 2223, sure. I guess that's right. And we need the ILS beacon for this runway. I have to find it because I don't know what I'm looking for. It would be helpful. You know what? We're going to do it this way. Because I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to switch over to FS Commander. I don't know how to read this approach plate. It's alright. Oops. Zoom out. Come on down here to LFOH. This should tell me. No? God damn it. How do I get the ILS frequency? Tower approach, runway 23, which is what we're going on, but it doesn't tell me. Am I hiding ILSs? No, ILS is here. That's the NDB. I don't want that. Normally it says it, like, here, let's go to another airport, see what that looks like. Yeah, there's the ILSs right there for the runways. Why isn't it showing the ILSs for this one? That's an issue. If I want to do an instrument landing, I gotta know the ILS beacon. That's a big issue. What was that? ILS. This approach, that's tower. Approach. Oh, INA. This is ILS, I guess. $109.5. I think. Yeah, this is the ILS approach. I don't know what this is. Maybe visual approach. It's just in French, so I can't really read it. But I'm pretty sure it's 109.5. If I'm wrong, we'll crash and burn and die. It's all good. Yeah, 109.5. Okay, I think. So we're going to go back to FSX. And go to our radio stack. Well, we got to unpause it first. So again, they want us to come to a heading of 185. That's the most important thing first, because we got to listen to what ATC says. So, unpause.
Approach. Cessna 74 Hotel.
We'll come to 1. We'll set our heading bug to 185.
Contact London Center on 118.475.
Okay, now they also want us to see a lot of things happen all at once. So they want us to contact London Center. That's fine. Sure.
118.475.
And we got to turn this off.
Hotel.
Change it to heading. So now we're following the heading bug, not the nav.
Orbit.
And we're turning into London Center.
Hotel Uniform Zulu. Turn right heading 285.
And contact London. Oh.
Heading 285. Bombardier Hotel Uniform Zulu.
And contact London Center.
Center, Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, with you.
See what London Center tells me to do before I tune into anything.
Uniform Zulu, contact Shore approach on 123.15. Cessna, November 7274 Hotel, London Center, Roger.
Yeah, altimeter's the same.
902.
Okay. Alright, now he wants to turn left at all for a heading of 155. So, I knew it was going to tell me something else.
155. Cessna 74 Hotel.
155.
Bombardier Hotel.
Okay.
Uniform Zulu.
Hopefully he doesn't tell me anything different. So as you can see, I'm off of my flight plan, but that's okay because they know I'm coming in on that ILS. So I'm going to now set to 109.5, and I'm going to set it on both so that I can track a few things. And move that over, and move that over. Now he wants me to come back on 185. Okay, so 185. It's telling me to go all over the place. Okay, now we're coming out 185. Acknowledge instruction. Sorry about that.
Heading 185, Cessna 74 Hotel.
Okay, so if I did this right, and I'm not sure if I did, these two nav gauges should be pointing to the ILS for the runway we're supposed to be landing on, which is runway 23. Right? Runway 2322. It says 22 on the approach plate, but it's 23 in FSX. I don't know. It's like 22.5 is the actual direction, so you can read that any way you want, I guess. But I think we're a little too far away right now for this. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know what I'm doing. So, there's that. I'm just kind of hoping it all works out. But to look at us on FS Commander, if you're worried about what that looks like, this is us again. This is LHO. So if we continue on this heading, we will not. We'll overshoot the airport. In fact, we'll come west of the airport. So I'm hoping that when we switch over to LFOH airspace, they'll tell us to continue on nav. I don't know. We'll see. Check fuel is what Nick's saying. Fuel is still midway on both left and right. Our fuel selector's at both, so we're using both tanks right now. And we'll switch back. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you that. Fuel selector's at both down here, and we have. Oh, according to this, you can mouse over it and see how much you have. We have 13 gallons in about both tanks. Excuse me, sorry.
Charlie, Papa Charlie. London Center, Bombardier, Oscar, Echo, Hotel, Uniform, Zulu, with you. Bombardier, Oscar, Echo, Hotel, Uniform, Zulu, London Center, Roger, altimeter 29902.
So we're going to continue on our approach like this until somebody tells us otherwise. I mean, I can always take control and just land myself, I guess, but I kind of want to do it right. And I'll just turn off my comms.
Descend and maintain 3000, Bombardier Hotel, Uniform, Zulu. Bombardier Hotel, Uniform, Zulu. Contact shore approach on 123.15. November, Whiskey Kilo. Contact Paris Center on 119.825.
Oh, I think somebody's going to tell me to contact Paris Center. Because keep in mind, we're right now with London Center. So I guess London controls the airways over the channel. Or the airspace over the channel. And then once we cross the channel onto the Paris side, we'll contact Paris Center. And then once we get closer to LFOH, we'll contact LFOH.
Climb and maintain flight level 210, Pacifica 8385.
Very quiet. And that's what I kind of mean about it happens all at once. We're not even, well, we're more than halfway, I guess. We're halfway to our destination. Because we started at EGKB, so. And that's right here. So we're about halfway. Yeah, I'd say.
Pacifica 5233, descend and maintain 14,000. Descend and maintain 14,000, Pacifica 5233.
I just realized I probably didn't update when I'm playing on Twitch.
Climb and maintain flight level 310.
For anybody expecting this to be Arma 3, this is not Arma 3. This is FSX.
Pacifica 8385. London Center, Piper Foxtrot Lima Juliet, Hotel Juliet, with you, 6,500.
Piper Foxtrot Lima Juliet, Hotel Juliet, London Center, Roger, altimeter 29902.
Oh, you can start seeing the French shoreline. Look at that. Oh, you guys can't see. There we go. Look at that. There's France. Oop. One of these views is my window view. Oh, not those ones. That one. There we go. Bonjour. Go back here. Nick just said something that might be of importance. Nick is saying that this green line here is the border of London Center. So as soon as I cross this, I'll probably be in Paris. I think. More or less. Yeah, this thing looks like a penis.
Pacifica 8385, contact Paris Center on 119.825.
Going to 119.825.
Yeah, we're going to be contacting Paris Center soon. Because Pacifica 8385 just was told to contact them, and they're right here. And we are right here. So, close. We're getting there. Wait, what can you get out of this? I guess that's destination, or start and destination. Cool. You can get all the flight plans for all these flights. That's kind of neat.
Orbit 1512, descend and maintain 8,000.
Descend and maintain 8,000. Orbit 1512.
God, I hope I'm on the right ILS for this runway. Runway 22. We gotta be. We gotta be on the right ILS. This isn't a plate. And while we're talking about approach plates, let me just switch this. We'll minimize this. Sorry. Pause that. Unpause that. Essentially what this is, and I don't know how to read it fully, but I'll read it to you as best I can. This is a top-down view of the airport and the approach. So, this is a runway here. This down here matches with everything that's going on up here, although it doesn't seem to really line up in this case, but normally it does. So like LHO, this is this point, and this is like a sideways view. Yeah, this is like a sideways view. So this kind of tells you at what altitudes you should be, at what times, and this, 8.3, 10.3, 4.6, 0.7, these are distances from the ILS frequency. So if you put these into your DME, it tells you what to do at specific distances. So for example, here at this LOC marker, which I don't know where that is. Whatever. It's telling you at this marker you start your descent towards the airport. Sorry. This will tell me exactly, this gauge here will tell me exactly that, and I'm going to tell my autopilot to just follow this gauge, which should more or less do what the approach plate tells me to do as well. And it's not that I'm cheaping out, I'm trying to learn how to do this through all autopilot. I just did another flight where I actually did it manually. But I'd like to try to understand how to do it properly. It's actually kind of harder this way, because you got to manage a lot of buttons. It's easier to just look at it and say, yep, I'm going there. Sorry, just wanted to open that up to make sure you guys can still see. Nick said something about the settings. For later, setting, general, pause on task switch. So let's just set that now. General, pause on task switch. Nice. Badass. Thanks, Nick. Now I don't have to worry about pausing every time. We're getting some cloud cover up in here, though. On this guy, you can actually load weather, download weather. It's pretty this program's pretty awesome, actually. But I don't know if it gets real world weather or in-game weather. I think it's real world weather, to be honest.
Bombardier Golf Papa Romeo X-ray London Center, Roger.
We're in these clouds. And see, you can see the wind direction at each airport, but I think that might be live, not in-game. Yeah, we're right in these clouds, and
Bombardier Echo Charlie Kilo Sierra November with you.
Bombardier Echo Charlie Kilo Sierra November London Center, Roger.
And I don't know how to request a new altitude without just doing it. I mean, I could always do it. I can do it whenever I want. But I'm like right in these clouds. So we're getting a little bit of turbulence. I'd rather either be below it or above it. And if anything, I'd rather be below it, but... Well, let's just do it. We're just gonna break the rules. So, we're gonna again set this to, let's go down to 6,000 feet. And set our vertical speed to 200. So it'll be a slow descent. Just to get underneath these clouds. And we gotta manage our speed because we're descending, so we're going... Actually, we're at a pretty good speed, I think.
Cessna 7 Fort
That's me.
Contact Paris Center on 119.825.
Alright, so now we're going to Paris Center.
119.825 for
And let's take a look at where we are in FS Commander. We're right here on the border, just like Nick said. So, oops. So we're gonna tune into Paris Center. And contact them.
Center, Cessna, November 727 Fort Hotel, with you, 6,900. Cessna, November 727 Fort Hotel.
Altimeter's the same, so don't need to change that.
902.
And I think the next guy we're probably gonna contact is LFOH.
Paris Center, Bombardier, Golf Lima, Foxtrot, Victor Sierra, with you. Bombardier, Golf Lima, Foxtrot, Victor Sierra, Paris Center, roger.
We've been flying for almost an hour now. And we just broke the clouds.
7 Fort Hotel, you're
That's me.
300 below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain.
Oh, you asshole!
Altimeter 2902.
No, he's pissed off. Alright, I'm gonna have to fly above. I'm gonna have to get back in these clouds. Sorry, guys.
Fort Hotel.
Alright, so 7,000 feet and altitude, vertical speed 200.
Fort Niner, Niner,
All
Fort Niner, you are 130 miles southeast. Turn left heading 300. Descend and maintain flight level 280. Expect vectors ILS. Runway 8 right approach. Turn left heading 300. Climb and maintain flight level 280. Expect vectors ILS. Runway 8 right approach. Soar Niner, Niner, Fort Niner. Cessna 7 Fort Hotel. Please stabilize your climb to
Fucking
7,000.
asshole. Alright.
Paris Center, Pacifica 2005 with you.
He wants me to expedite.
World travel 10. Descend and maintain flight level 200. Pacifica 2005. Paris Center. Roger.
Alright, we'll expedite it. We better get some speed though.
World travel 10.
We're above the clouds anyway, or we broke the clouds anyway now, so I don't really care. And we're about to level off, so we'll just come back on the throttle a little bit. So, according to the map, LFOH should be directly in front of us. So, if we go back, oops, I keep switching to that view. If we go to this view, it should be somewhere around here, because LFOH is, actually, it's probably around here, because it's right before that little inlet. And we're going to be, the runway runs parallel to this inlet, so we're going to be landing this way, so around and this way, if you follow them out. So around this way and like this. And it still hasn't, it still hasn't found the ILS's. That's what these mean, these little hashes. Means it's not tuned into anything. It hasn't picked anything up yet. So we just still might be a little too far away. Maybe? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Regardless, ATC was pretty pissed off that I deviated, so I should stay with the current heading too. Aircraft is making a weird sound now. You hear that? It's like oh, it just stopped.
Descend and maintain flight level 220. Soar, Niner, Niner, 49er.
118.475. Pacifica 229er warp.
Also, because I'll probably forget later, we're gonna turn this beacon or this button off of GPS. We're autopiloting by heading anyway right now, but we're gonna change it back to nav. Oh, maybe that's why this didn't come alive. We're changing it back to nav because we're gonna be, the autopilot will be following these two nav beacons, or this one nav beacon. They're tuned to the same radios, so it's gonna be following the nav beacon on our approach. So instead of flying the ILS manually, we're gonna have the autopilot fly it.
Paris Center, orbit 208 is climbing through flight level 277 for flight level 3.
And according to FS Commander, we've got pretty clear skies.
Roger.
Not a lot of traffic over around LFOH, so. But that could change. I mean, FSX basically just spawns planes. Okay. Now it wants us to descend to 3,000. That we can do. So we'll set our autopilot to 3,000. And we'll set our vertical speed, we'll say, to 400. And that's already armed, so... Oh, we should acknowledge the instruction. God damn it.
Turn right heading 290. Resume own navigation. Descend and maintain 14,000. Descend and maintain 3,000. Cessna 74 Hotel.
We gotta come down quick, I think, though. So he might tell us to expedite.
Proceed on course. Descend and maintain.
And we'll throttle down because since we're descending, we're gonna get a little bit of speed. In fact, I might change our vertical speed to 5,000. We'll arm that. Oh, the nav beacon just came alive. Do you see it swing? Yeah, see, he just expedited. Yeah, I'm expediting. Shut the fuck up. You shouldn't have told me to fly at 7,000. You know what? Maybe we should expedite it more. I don't usually fly this. This was my worry. Yeah. So we'll really expedite it. This might be dangerous. So our altimeter should start clicking back quite quickly because we're at 1,000 feet per minute is our descent rate. So that means in about 3 minutes. Well, yeah, 3 minutes exactly. We'll be at, and the autopilot will beep right now. No? Okay, never mind. No, it won't. Yeah, because we're at 6,000, so 3 minutes. I don't think I can go any faster than that. I should throttle back. If he tells me to expedite again, I'll come down to 1,500 feet per minute, but we're still a few ways out. We're coming to about 5,000 feet now. And I think that's the runway there. But I've never landed here, so I'm not too sure.
World travel board 11, traffic is 9 o'clock. Miles at flight level 270, Airbus A321, report to inside.
And again,
World travel board 11,
the
Airbus
airspace looks pretty
A321,
clear. Other than this orbit 2124, it looks like it's coming to land at LFOH. So we might have to be in a holding pattern, and I don't know how to do that. So I'm really hoping that we don't have to do holding patterns, because I didn't read or watch that tutorial.
Hotel. Contact Rowan
That's us.
on 118.
Okay, so they want us to contact approach, acknowledge handoff.
118.575, Cessna 74 Hotel.
And tune into the approach and contact them.
Approach, Cessna November 7274 Hotel is at 4,200, descending 3,000. Cessna November 7274 Hotel, Deauville approach, roger.
Okay, that was just the autopilot telling us I was 4,000, that beep.
Cessna 74 Hotel, turn left heading 145.
He wants us to
maintain
left to
3,000.
145. So, 145. I was waiting for this instruction because we were coming in a little too close to the runway. We basically, if we come here,
Cessna 74 Hotel, did you hear my last transmission? Turn left.
sorry, I didn't acknowledge it.
145, descend,
So,
maintain
this is the runway here. Essentially what we want to do is come this way and do... So right now, essentially, we're on a really, really long base leg. We're going to come around to the right and just come in for the landing on final. So we'll switch back here. And we're approaching 3,000 feet now. So if we go back to...
Hotel, turn right heading 175.
He wants us to turn right at 175. So, Oop, a little too far. 175.
Cessna 74 Hotel.
God damn it!
Acknowledge.
I keep forgetting.
Turn right heading 175.
So this is our approach now,
Hotel.
right here. And if we look here, we can see that the vector, the slope indicator and the approach indicator. I don't know what. I know this is called the slope indicator. I don't know what this one's called. Approach indicator, or whatever. Is coming alive. Now this is telling us that we are too low, but it won't matter because we're at 3,000 feet. So basically, you fly into the needles. But they're going to tell us to turn on or follow the ILS in a second. And the autopilot will do that for us. So hopefully, I think. I've never done it before. But they're just getting us on an approach so that we can follow our nav.
Cessna 74 Hotel, turn left heading 135.
So 135. They're making us do a lot of turns before we come in for approach. Let's take a look at the map.
Cessna 74 Hotel, did you hear my last transmission? Turn
Keep
left
forgetting.
heading 135.
So, we're pretty clear.
Hotel.
Looks like it. Let's zoom in a little bit, because we don't need to see everything else. There we go. That's a little better. Switch back to here. And switch back to here. Throttle up just a bit. We're going a little slow. Here's the airport over there. Just in the corner of the right window. This is really exciting. Let's look at this window at the airport. It's just, we're just a little, switch to this view. There it is right here. Pretty sure. I think. Let's check our map, our commander. So we're just about to intercept. Now when we intercept, if we intercept too far, that means if we go too far south, like this way, like over here, this approach vector will swing all the way to the right, telling us we need to come right. And this approach vector is still telling us that we're too low, but we don't care about that right now.
Landmark 751 is at 4,400, descending 2,000. Landmark 751, Deauville approach, roger, altimeter 2992.
Back up here. There's our runway there. This is us.
16 miles northeast, turn right, heading 1905, descend and maintain
Okay.
3000. Cleared ILS, runway 23.
Okay, so I'm clear for landing now.
3000 until established on the localizer.
So turn right,
Tower on 119.
heading 195. So he's giving us a lot of shit. So I'm going to pause this. So I'm going to read it. Okay, 16 miles northeast. That's good. Turn to a heading of 195. So we're going to do that next. Descend and maintain 3000. So we're already at 3000. Cleared ILS runway 23 approach. So we can now tune our GPS down here to ILS approach. So I'm going to click that nav button and it should follow the ILS. Maintain 3000 until established on the localizer and contact the tower on 119.15. Alright, so fair enough. We're going to unpause this. Acknowledge the clearance.
Right, heading 1905, descend and maintain
195.
3000. Cleared ILS runway 23 approach. Maintain 3000 until established.
And tune into the tower. And contact the tower.
Tower, Cessna, November 7274 Hotel is.
And once we're done this turn, I'm going to turn on the nav.
ILS runway
And the GPS should take over, or the autopilot should. So they're telling us to make straight in, so we're clear on runway 23. And we're going to turn on our nav, and this should change to nav. I think. I'm not very familiar with this. Okay, so yeah, it is figuring it out. So basically the GPS is going to fly towards this nav and towards this nav beacon and get us on approach with the runway. However, I haven't yet set it to, there's another thing called approach. So right now all the autopilot is doing is flying us towards this marker. Nope.
Fly straight in, runway 23, Cessna 74 Hotel.
All it's doing is flying us towards this beacon. Once the slope vector comes alive, this one right here, I'm going to tell it to follow the approach vector. And then once we're really fucking close to landing, I'm going to turn off autopilot and just do the last 5 seconds myself, because that's kind of what you're supposed to do. So the autopilot's going to figure some stuff out while it tries to get on a good approach, hopefully. And if we go to FS Commander, actually, it looks pretty damn awesome. And again, my hands aren't on the stick at all right now. Look at that awesome approach. We're like right on track. Awesome. Alright. We'll go back here. And if we look at the approach plate, actually, while we're here, while we got some time, we're basically coming in at a bearing of 240. Or 224, more or less. And we're on exactly this approach plate. Which is pretty awesome. Flight Simulator is awesome because when everything comes together, good things happen. And we can't even see the runway right now. I gotta fix that. I gotta figure out how to like set my draw distance or something, because I mean, it's there somewhere. I just can't see it. So again, we're just waiting for this slope vector needle to come alive now. We're going to slow up a little bit because we're going a little fast, especially since we're on approach. And we could probably give ourselves some flaps. No, I'll wait till we activate the approach. I'll give ourselves some flaps on. I can't even see the runway yet, so I'm not too concerned. Actually, show you something real quick. This beacon right here, this green thing, is the NDB. No, yeah, that's the NDB for Le Havre. Right here, 346.00. And if we go here to our approach plate, that is this beacon here, 346. So we can actually tune into this beacon, and we can do that like a boss. Go back here. Tune into this. What is it? 346? 3. Come down a lot. 4, 6. And that's this guy here, but we don't have a DME, so we can't see our distance. But we're right on track for going towards there. But if we had a DME, I could see my distance. But this GPS pushes out the DME, so we can't really look at our DME, unfortunately. Kind of sucks. Oh, slut vector's coming to life. Slope, not slut vector. Okay, so we're gonna click approach now. And I think... Oh, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? No. Oh, I don't want to follow the heading beacon. Oh, shit. Something weird's going on. Nav. And approach. So... I don't know what I just did. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. So, it's got to get me back lined up, unfortunately, because I screwed up. So we're runway 224, so we want to go 224 degrees, set this, and then when we click approach, I think then it'll follow the heading bug. So we got to be lined up first, so that was my bad. And we got to come down, so we got to catch up to our mistake. So right now we're on approach. Good. And we're lined up with the beacon, so we're going to click approach now. And it's going to follow the heading, but it's also going to follow the slope vector, I think. If not, I'm going to do this manual, and I'm going to figure it out later. Maybe if I set vertical speed. I don't know. We are coming down. So that's good. It's a good thing. But not down enough. Okay. We might have to take this manual. Give myself some flaps. Go down. Turn off autopilot. Because I don't know how this thing works yet, I guess. Approach. Now it's doing approach? Fucking thing. Is it coming down? Yeah, it's coming down, but is it coming down enough? That's just autopilot telling me something. I don't think it's coming down enough. We're way too high. I mean, we're still on track. It's just... Okay, so approach. Approach.
Cessna 74 Delta, cleared to land, runway 23.
Knowledge
Cleared
landing
to land,
planning.
runway 23. Cessna 74 Hotel.
Too high. Way too high. Okay. This is about the time where I'm going to turn off GPS and do this manually. We're going to have to figure this out later. This GPS is much, or this autopilot is much more complex than the one with the stock 172. If anybody can tell me how to do that properly, that would be fantastic. It actually models the FSX King, like, perfectly, so you really just have to get the real world. I really just have to take the real world manual for the FSX King, and get that. So what we're trying to do is keep this line straight, and this slope vector, we need it to come to the middle. We need it to be flat, because we wasted too much time. And now I'm flying myself. Normally, you set your heading bug and just come in on the approach and turn off autopilot, like I said, like 5 seconds from landing. We gotta really come down, but we're gonna get a lot of speed. And I don't want to crack them. You can actually damage this airplane. Come on, slope vector, come alive, you piece of shit. Way too high. Still way too high. Jesus. There, it's coming alive now. Alright, give myself some more flaps, because I'm really going to have to slow down when I land this. Okay, lights are coming alive. We'll pull up a little bit, just to level out a little bit. How are we doing on speed? 75 knots. Alright, and we're on a good slope. Just keep those lines straight. It's going to catch up to us, so we're going to go a little bit of power, just a little bit. And we're at full flaps right now. Keep those lights too white, too red. And as I'm coming in, I'm taking note of the taxiways too. I'm going to want to exit off the nearest taxiway. Which will probably be, I'm not going to make the first one, but it'll be the second one. So, right about now, oh, we're a little too, there we go. Right about now I stop looking at the lights, and I'm just basically aiming for the black. And we're over the runway, so no throttle. Just glide it in. Flare. Just a little bit of flare. We got lots of runways, so we're okay. We don't even need brakes on this one.
Cessna 74, exit runway when able.
So, we'll give ourselves a little bit of throttle because we're not going to make the taxiway. I still think our tire is popped because, like, we're kind of rolling a little weird. And we're going to switch to this view.
Turn next taxiway.
And flaps. Alright, we're going to hold short. Because you're not actually supposed to cross that line until you contact ground. Request taxi to fueling.
Ground, Cessna, November 727 Fort Hotel, request taxi to fuel. Cessna 7 Fort Hotel, taxi to fuel.
Knowledge.
Fuel, Cessna,
And turn on progressive.
Fort Hotel.
Let's see what my fuel does look like. We didn't bleed a lot of fuel, to be honest. So to see what we're doing, go back here, and we take a look at the airport plate. So this is the airport plate here. We landed here, and we took the second left, and we're gonna, I don't know, somewhere around here. I should switch. Oh, we're going a little fast. Pay attention. I don't know how to fuel, so maybe we can figure it out. Maybe not. Alright, and we're going to set the parking brake. And I'm assuming you need to actually be turned off to fuel, so we're going to kill the engine. Is there an options? I'm just seeing if I can see something real quick. Yeah, I don't know how to fuel. World. Fuel and payload. How do we just fucking say fill it up? Sure, this is how I'm gonna do it. Okie dokie. And I think it's paused or something. Or we have to start her up again. There's also this, which is fuel. There, we'll just do it this way. This is actually A to A. So we'll fill her up. Just pretend like we filled it up. There, now we got fuel. And we'll start her up again. Oop. Taxi to parking. Request taxi to parking.
Ground, Cessna, November
And we'll push back.
727 Fort Hotel, taxi to parking. Cessna, November 727 Fort Hotel, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
Acknowledge.
Taxiing to general aviation parking.
And turn on
using
progressive.
taxiway. Cessna 7 Fort Hotel.
And again, there's a way you can, in this pullback, there's a way you can turn, but I don't think I have it bounded. Actually, we can just pull. Oh, we're just parking there. I thought we were have to go all the way out there. Whatever. We're done, I guess. Screw your taxiways. We'll brake here. Shut her down. Oop. Shut her down. Okay, now what I wanted to see was actually if we ruined anything. It doesn't say, just the spark plugs, but it always tells you swap spark plugs after every flight. So anyway, that's it. That is a flight over the English Channel to France from Echo Golf Kilo Bravo to Lima Foxtrot Oscar Hotel. pretty much a successful flight, other than the approach thing didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. We were on perfect approach anyway, and we had a really good landing regardless. Even though we didn't check our fuel beforehand, we had tons of fuel, so overall I think it was pretty successful. So if you ended up watching all 1 hour and 40 minutes of this, congratulations, and I guess we'll see you for the next flight.